Hello, my gorgeous reading angels. I hope that you're having the best day of your entire stinking life. Welcome to the end of the year book tag video for 2022. How are we in November already?
I have no idea.
But here we are. I love book tag videos. I feel like they've kind of lost their popularity, but thankfully the tried and trues are here to stay. Like, I love the mid-year freak out book tag and now the end of the year book tag. So this tag was created by Ariel Bissett. I will leave her channel linked in the description box below. If you'd like to do this book tag, consider yourself tagged by me. Let's get right into it with the first question. Are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Yes. I will be honest, I'm not someone who starts a lot of books and then just doesn't finish them with the intention of coming back to them. If I'm not finishing a book, it's probably because I'm DNFing it. But the book that I do need to finish and I need to get through before the end of this year is absolutely Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This is my final challenge to myself. One of my reading goals for 2022 was to stop being afraid and intimidated of big chunky books. So I wanted to dive into a high fantasy. I've heard incredible things about this book. There's dragons, there's a stunning sapphic romance, which I'm so excited to get to. And I'm currently on page 206, and I do have this chunked out to read through the entire month of November. I'm reading about 200 pages a week, and I'm buddy reading this, so I have moral support. I've found that with chunky books, it really helps if you do a buddy read so that you have like accountability buddies, and you get to talk about the book too, which is so fun. Do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? I don't feel like I have books that are necessarily like autumnal that are helping me transition into the end of the year, but some that stand out in my mind that might help me do so. I really want to get to Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. This is like a dark academia vibe, which I feel the dark themes that are in these books, the academic settings, I feel like fall very well. So this might be considered a transitional book for me. The other series that I have been enjoying so thoroughly is the Truly Devious series. So I'm currently in the middle of the third book, which is The Hand on the Wall, and then I'm holding up The Box in the Woods, and the series is by Maureen Johnson. The series takes place, I think, over just one semester at this artsy, secluded Vermont high school for like gifted children, I guess you could say. That makes it sound magical. It's not magical. It's just that these kids are extremely intelligent in many, many different ways. And it starts at the beginning of a school semester, so it starts in September. It's super autumnal, and then in the third book that I'm currently reading, it's starting to snow, and so I feel like this last book is going to be much more wintry. So this has been a really good transitional series as well. The third question, is there a new release you're still waiting for? Yes. The one that stands out most clearly in my mind is Saint by Adrienne Young. This is I guess like a prequel to the Fable and Namesake duology, and it's following Fable's father, and I cannot contain my excitement. I need to pre-order this book because it comes out in November, like quite soon, I think in the next week or two. What are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? I have so many more than 3 books that I could talk about, but I will hold up the couple that I have in front of me that I haven't spoken about yet.
It's gonna be more than 3.
I really want to finish the Winter Night trilogy by Catherine Arden. So I've read the first book, which is called The Bear and the Nightingale. I read that last December, and it was so beautiful, but these are actually quite dense, a little bit fantastical, I guess more magical realism, Russian folklore tales, but they're gorgeous. The only reason I mention that is because they're very dense, and so after I read that first one, I was like, I need to read something that's just a little bit lighter, and that's why I didn't continue right away with the 2 other books that are in the trilogy. So I'm hoping that before the end of this year I will finish this trilogy. And also these covers are so pretty. The other book that I've been meaning to get to literally since it came out in January of this year is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sulin Tan. I'm embarrassed that I haven't read this yet. I feel like this book is gonna be a similar tone and mood of The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio, which I loved. I picked up the audiobook and I'm hoping to read along with the audiobook. I've really loved doing that this year. Then I have Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw. I read The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw in, all of the months are blending together at this point, July, I wanna say. It was during the summer. I was absolutely enchanted by The Wicked Deep. I am very, very excited to get to Winterwood. This is more of a like wintry, witchy, woodsy tale, so already say less. I am so there. It's about like a witch and kind of this boy who plays a huntsman character, and Shay Earnshaw just writes really beautiful YA fantasy that is very atmospheric, but also her little romances that she writes are just very lighthearted. Like, this is gonna be a very light read that I think would pair well after maybe reading the other two books in the Winter Night trilogy, or after my next book that I'm about to hold up. So the last one that I'll mention, and I don't know if I want to set a goal to read this trilogy by the end of the year or just this one book to start, but that is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I have been holding off reading Babel until I get to this series first, because I don't know why. With R.F. Kuang, I just want to read her books in kind of more chronological order. I've heard that this fantasy series is heart-wrenching, powerful, deep, perfection, emotional, all of the things. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite? In all honesty, 200 pages into Priory, I think that this has the potential to do so. I also have very, very high hopes for The Poppy War as well because of what I've heard about it. And I feel like with The Poppy War, I've heard it has a similar mood and tone to the Ember and the Ashes series by Sabaa Tahir, which Sabaa Tahir is my other absolute queen. And that series was so emotional and powerful and devastating and uplifting. Like, it just had everything in it, and I feel like from what I've heard, The Poppy War has a very similar impact. The other books that I think could have that same potential: Sirens Muses by Antonia Angress. This is a contemporary fiction for artists that are drawn into a web of rivalry and desire at an elite art school on the streets of New York. It seems almost dark academia competitiveness, but with an art school, with a mix of the atmosphere of Bunny, or maybe light academia, because I'm not sure that anyone like dies, and that's a main theme in dark academia. But anyways, getting so sidetracked. I feel like Sirens and Muses has the potential to be a book like that for me. Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellors. I really, really want to get to that one as well. That is another contemporary fiction that everyone has raved about this year. The other one that I'm very intrigued about is Daughter of Darkness by Catherine and Elizabeth Kaur. This was published in August of this year. I really haven't heard too many people talk about it, but it is a fantasy that is based off of Greek mythology, from what I understand. And also the cover, which I will pop up, is so beautiful. And the final question: have you already started making reading plans for next year, for 2023? Absolutely. You guys know me. I'm such a planner. I love to plan my goals, my reading plans, all of those things. So I've started to make some reading plans for next year, mainly surrounding my goals for next year. I'm planning to make a video updating you on how I made out with my reading goals that I set for 2022, and then also talk about my goals for 2023. I will say, this year it was my goal, like I mentioned, to stop being intimidated and scared of big chunky books. Next year it is my goal to stop being afraid of book series. Mainly really long book series. Book series that are 5+ books are very scary to me because it's such a commitment to make, and they take a lot of time to get through. But I need to stop thinking like that and changing my thought patterns of saying, yeah, it might take a lot of time to get through, but who cares? Like, if you fall in love with this series, that's so exciting that you get 5+, 7+, like whatever it is. You get so many books to read, and that's so exciting. So that is one of my main goals for next year. And if you want to hear more about my goals, keep your eyes out for my goals video. Those are all the questions, my friends. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Leave your answers to these questions in the comments down below, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, friends.